It's gonna be a short review because tonight I'm gonna review Good Fortune. You might be thinking about doing aka just like Matthew Davis Mania. Actually, I don't do it like that, like he does, but I digress. So tonight in this video I'm gonna be short because. So today I got to review. I mean, no, not review. Tonight, I mean earlier today, I got to see Good Fortune in theaters. You see, this is directed by Aziz Ansari. I don't know how to pronounce the first one. Well, anyways, he plays this one guy Arch, who is the guy who has been struggling, really, and trying to find work. I think has work. He he is going through some struggling times at this time, and then we have Seth Rogen, who plays a guy who's very rich, but then Gabriel, who's played by Keanu Reeves, and they swap bodies. Was the when Seth Rogen and the lead, the director slash actor in star, yes, swap places, things get out of hand. As Aziz Ansari's character starts living the rich life, and then Seth Rogen's character starts struggling. And then Gabriel, who's played by Keanu Reeves, will start figuring out that money problems. What he what money problems did not go easy as planned, and we also have Central O and then Kiki Palmer. Now, when it comes to this, is a comedy. It was kind of funny. It was Now, people who are either homeless or struggling financially can relate to this comedy. Yeah, because everybody who's in those kind of situations, who fit those two categories, can relate to this movie. And the concept was pretty. The premise of this film is also relatable for those people. Yeah, pretty good. I thought that Aziz Ansari's directorial debut turned out to be get him somewhere. Although his original directing debut was suspended, with that other film got suspended, but this one, yeah, I thought he did pretty good. Yeah, Keanu Reeves. Whenever you see him in a movie that's bad or good, a lot of people are starting to appreciate. A lot of people appreciate Keanu Reeves nowadays, because Keanu Reeves is one of the most beloved actors today. Like, for example, we have Dick Van Dyke, Julie Andrews, and then there's also Betty White, among a few other people. Those three people, for example, they're also beloved actors that the entertainment industry has ever known. Yeah, there are celebrities that are beloved. A lot of people. There's so many people would appreciate. I mean, see, and Keanu Reeves is supposed, and I've also heard that Keanu Reeves is supposed to be one of the most kind celebrities. And also, this movie's kind of like related to One of Them Days, another comedy like that has a premise that's somewhat familiar, which I can also relate to. I can with that premise, but I don't want to keep comparing with the premise for this movie with the one that One of Them Days has. Like, I mean, it's One of Them Days is a little different, where you struggle to pay rent. People who struggle to pay their bills can relate to this and that film particularly. But when it comes to this comedy is actually a pretty good example for people. This is like that one movie that everybody needs to see at least once. And I thought, like, I was not going to see it. Well, it's an RA film, but it's not given sexual innuendos or. I like that. I mean, this comedy doesn't have any sexual references to say, because, given the fact that this is a comedy. Yeah, this comedy is like, I thought it's like seeing it got nice reception right now on Rotten Tomatoes, and you see, just want to see if what was the popcorn meter for this movie. Popcorn meter is actually 80% on Rotten Tomatoes. So a lot of people would appreciate this movie. You know, it's like this movie is like also shows how living a rich life can be pretty good. But sometimes there are some ups and downs for sometimes when you have fame, you know, and when it comes to public figures as well. But sometimes, you know, and it's like Keanu Reeves, like Gabriel, is supposed to show that he also loses, like, when it happens to if whatever what swapping body swapping happened, it came out resulted in negative ways. Nice to see Sandra Oh in this one too, because I remember she appeared in she lent her voice in Turning Red, and also appeared in Grey's Anatomy, with a medical drama that I'm most familiar with. But anyways, I can relate with the premise of this movie, as I already said, but I thought it was a pretty good movie to look at. I mean, it is a comedy. Yeah, it was funny. One of the Days was also like a movie that was somewhat related to this, but that one was pretty bad. But that one was better because, you know. Anyways, One of the Days was actually critically acclaimed from critics because, although it's critically acclaimed, One of the Days is still considered one of the best movies that 2025 has seen. Well, I'm not sure what that freaking beeping is, but I should try to ignore that. But anyways, when it comes to this film, I thought it teach us some Babby lessons. Sorry about that, but it's coming from Zuma. Anyways, okay, so I wouldn't worry about that, but anyways, I'm gonna give Good Fortune a 4 out of 5. A comedy that I thought was worth checking out. I was gonna see Wolfman earlier, but I wasn't able to, so I ended up seeing this one instead. I also saw this movie on AMC. Well, also seeing Kiki Palmer in this movie, yeah. Sometimes I forget that. Sometimes I either forget or am unaware that she was in this movie, but she was also in One of Them Days as well. Some beeping going off again, but try to ignore that. Try to disregard the background noise, but anyways, now I've also been focusing on reviewing horror movies for October. However, this is not one of those. Well, because given the fact that Good Fortune is a comedy, it's nice to see a movie review for a movie that doesn't meet the horror genre criteria. Anyways, that will be it for this review for Good Fortune. I actually am pretty pleased to find another good comedy. Not well, although One of the Days does say, although this movie had like a somewhat familiar premise to One of the Days, many people who like were poor or who was homeless or has work and has a job but still struggles financially can relate to this movie, especially One of the Days as well, because you never know. Well, if try to play the right moves. If you sometimes it gives you a lesson like try to play the try to play the right moves and stuff, and people's financial problems could disappear, but a lot of people might continue to struggle financially. But for some other people, could acknowledge the right moves they can. If they play the right moves, play the right cards, then they could see their financial problems disappear, and they can Play, their Five Nights at Way, pretty good. And then there, yeah. But that's all. Anyways, that's it for my review. I will be getting back to reviewing horror movies after this one. I'm gonna focus on the decent third chapter of the Scream installment. Then on Thursday, I'll focus on number 4. Friday, hopefully review Scream 6. Try to review the Purge movies as well, and also get the review for Scream 6 before this month is over. Anyways, and I also haven't been reviewing any movies prior to the previous week. Since the previous week, when I reviewed both Scream and Scream 2. Scream did pretty good. Over 300 views, and it was up to 5 likes. My review was the second movie. Didn't see that. But anyways, stay tuned for my review for Scream 3, because it may be a decent sequel, but I'll still get to check it out. It featured the cameos of Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, but I'll get to that review eventually.